July the 22nd, 2019. Guys, some breaking information, and I want to talk about this because we've seen a lot of chess moves back and forth on the border situation. The Democrats will cry that there's not a crisis, and then the Trump administration will try to do something about it. Then they will decry that there is a crisis, and actually the crisis has been there for several administrations. But today something happened in this chess move that or chess game we've been watching. It was a fast move too. And what I'm going to read you, or they're talking about, it says ICE unlocks fast-track nationwide deportation powers. Again, it's announced today, and normally when they do this, they announce it in time. They give every lawyer in the nation time to sue them if they disagree with a policy. But it was announced today. It begins in the morning. It says Homeland Defense officials are unlocking their fast-track expedited removal power to quickly deport illegal migrants nationwide who cannot show they have lived illegally in the United States for longer than 2 years. Now, guys, I had to read that twice, too. And it goes back to one of the laws that they really didn't use that much. If you were caught within 100 miles of the border, then they could use this. It just hasn't been used that much lately. There's been so much fighting back and forth in the courts. And, of course, the pro-migration lawyers and progressives and activists are protesting the removal power, which was formerly restricted to new migrants, again, who were caught within 100 miles of the border, often walking northwards in the brush or being smuggled by truck. Again, in this protest, they're saying this is a nationwide show me your papers law that will have devastating racial profiling and family separation implications, said a statement from America's Voice, a pro-immigration group. And just when you think the president could not become more deplorable and unredeemable, here's what we got. And the protesters continue. They say, picture this. Using whatever pretext they want, ICE detains an individual. Unless that person is carrying on them right now evidence of their citizenship, legal status in this country, or documentation that they have been continuously in the U.S. for more than 2 years, they could be on a plane out of the country that day without speaking to a lawyer, a hearing, a judge, or the right to appeal. Now, guys, that is just as deplorable as it gets. Can you imagine that someone would do this? This escalated expedited removal policy will allow the Trump administration to rapidly deport anyone without so much as a trip home to gather evidence of status or to say goodbye to loved ones, let alone a hearing, judge, or attorney to provide actual review of due process. It just doesn't get any more unredeemable. Eleanor Acer, the chief of Human Rights, first complained, this sweeping move will give ICE and the CBP officers the power to bypass immigration courts across the country. Imagine that, guys. How could they be so racist and want to bypass the Ninth Circuit Court in California? How could anyone even pretend that's not racist? It says expedited removal is a summary procedure that allows an immigration officer to issue a deportation order. Imagine that. A power previously entrusted to immigration judges, complained Eleanor Acer, the chief of Human Rights First. Increasing deportation without due process will also likely lead to the summary expulsion of people who have been in the country for many years simply because they are not carrying proof of their years of residence when immigration officers take them into custody. The far-reaching deportation rule is allowed by a 1996 law and will start on Tuesday, July 23rd. That's tomorrow. That is unredeemable to start that early and not give the people in the Ninth Circuit Court a chance to throw a fit. The authority was not used by migrant presidents or migrant-friendly presidents Barack Obama or George W. Bush. I wonder why. They're saying officials will likely use their expanded authority to first target illegal immigrant criminals, such as MS-13 gang members, as well as recent migrants who were given deportation orders by judges. The extended authority will also minimize the risk that protest and progressive groups will be able to block the deportations. Imagine that, using a real law, and I'm sure that our best friends in the swamp, the Democrats, will really enjoy this news, and I'm sure they'll celebrate throughout tomorrow. We'll keep an eye on that. The expansion was applauded by pro-American reformers, of course, because they're deplorable. Trump's administration is to use full statutory authority, applying expedited removal to illegal aliens in the country for less than 2 years. This came from a tweet from Jessica Vaughn, policy director at the Center for Immigration Studies. She said it was long overdue. She is totally unredeemable. The 1996 law allows illegals who have been in the United States for more than 2 years to appeal their deportation in the courts. Pro-migrant groups are promising to block the expansion. The American Immigration Council will not stand idly by. We will see the Trump administration in court. American Immigration Council to date, July the 22nd, 2019. Yeah, there's one problem. Our unredeemable, deplorable president is going to already have people on the planes and stuff. How could he do that? We are suing to quickly stop Trump's effort to massively expand the expedited removal of immigrants. And guys, even the deplorable head of ICE stepped in today with the most racist remark I've ever seen in my life. Now, here comes Kevin McAleenan. We've seen him up before the Senate last week, the House, as they were attacking him for being so racist on the border. And guys, he really is. He's just like pro-American. I don't understand that. How could someone live with themselves like that? But what he said today says the DHS has determined that the volume of illegal entries and the attendant risk to national security and public service or public safety presented by these illegal entries warrants this immediate implementation of DHS's full statutory removal authority. DHS expects that the full use of this expedited removal statutory authority will strengthen national security, diminish the number of illegal entries, and otherwise ensure the prompt removal of aliens apprehended in the U.S. Guys, how deplorable can you believe these guys are? They actually want to enforce the laws of this nation. Unredeemable. It's a heads up. Be safe.